Okay, so today we're focusing on multiplying mixed numbers. We're on step 3. So step 3 is very simple. Step 1 was to convert the mixed numbers into improper fractions. Step 2 was to cross simplify. And then step 3 is to multiply horizontally. You're multiplying horizontally. So step 3 is to multiply horizontally. There are 4 steps that we need to go through in order to multiply mixed numbers. So for today's homework, what you're basically going to do is you're going to redo steps 1 through 3, and before I know you're going to complain and start saying that, okay, well, why are we doing this? We already did it. It's good practice, okay? So 1 3/5 times 2 1/4. So step 1 is to convert the mixed numbers into improper fractions. To do so, 5 times 1 is 5, plus 3 is 8. Okay, times 2 1/4, but 2 1/4 is not an improper fraction, therefore I'm going to change it into an improper fraction, and I do so by multiplying 4 times 2, which is 8, plus 1 is 9, and I get 9/4. Now the next step was to cross simplify. When we cross simplify, we're looking to see if the opposite numerator and the opposite denominator have a common factor. If they do, I'm able to simplify. And I'm sorry for that shadow. I'm trying my best to, use this without my whiteboard or an Elmo. So now when we cross simplify, we're looking at the opposite numerator and the opposite denominator. 5 and 9 share no common factor, therefore I leave them alone. 8 and 4 share a common factor, and that's 4. 4 divided by 4 is 1. 8 divided by 4 is 2. I also told you that this second step was to cross simplify and rewrite. It's very important for us to rewrite. So when I rewrite this, I will rewrite it as 2/5. I'll be a little small. 2/5 times 9/1. Step 3 is to multiply horizontally or straight across. So 9 times 2 is 18. 5 times 1 is 5. So you're stopping here. And then on Monday, we'll do step 4. The reason why we're not doing math on Friday is so that I can give you time for you to catch up on any of the other activities you haven't caught up for one crazy reason or the other. Let me do one more example, and then that'll be it. Let's see if it works better like this. The next example will be 1 1/3. 1 1/3 times 2 1/6. Okay, so my first step is to rewrite the mixed numbers as improper fractions. 3 times 1 is 3, plus 1 is 4. 4/3. Times 6 times 2 is 12, plus 1 is 13. 13/6. Bam. We're not done yet because I have to cross simplify. 3 and 13 don't share a common factor except 1, so leave them alone. 4 and 6 share a common factor, 2, they're both even numbers. 4 divided by 2 is 2. 6 divided by 2 is 3. Then I rewrite 2/3 times 13 over 3. Then I multiply straight across horizontally. 13 times 2 is 26. 3 times 3 is 9. So I get 26 over 9. Am I done? No, because the next step is to change this into a mixed number. However, I'm not going to have you do that. I'm going to have you do steps 1 through 3 so we can incorporate step 3 so that, when we start next week, we'll be a little more, we'll have more practice with this, and we won't be having a meltdown because we have to divide fractions still. Let me just do one more. The last example that I will go through will be 3/4. Oh, it's a different one. 3/4 times 8 1/2. 3/4 is already a fraction, so I'm not changing it into anything. 8 1/2, however, is a mixed number, so I have to change that into an improper fraction. 8 times 2 is 16, plus 1 is 17. So then I rewrite this as 17 over 2 times 3 over 4. There are some cases, like this one, where you won't be able to cross simplify. You cannot cross simplify 4 and 2. That's why it's called cross simplifying, because we're simplifying across. 4 and 17 share no common factors. 3 and 2 share no common factors. Therefore, it is to multiply straight across or horizontally. 4 times 2 is 8. 17 times 3, I don't know what that is off the top of my head, so I'll do the work on the side. 51. And you stop here. Don't box your answer because you're not boxing anything. So again, you're going to redo steps 1, 2, and then incorporate or add step 3.